Hi everybody, welcome to Let's Play XCOM. So I have bad news or good news depending on how you like this series to go. I recorded this update, but then I realized I hadn't recorded my voice while I was playing. I just recorded the game, so that was kind of silly. I'm never going to make that mistake again, but so I'm recording this after the fact, and this is just going to be a highlights episode basically. I'm not going to go through, it's like an hour or so of recording and talk over everything because I wouldn't have anything to talk about when I'm not there in the moment. But here's what happened. Here's what you missed, and well, you didn't miss it. Here's okay. So if you recall the last episode, which was quite a while ago, we had just shot down a UFO over England, and so this episode, the first thing I did was I kitted out the Skyranger, put all my stuff in, and then went off to jolly out England to fight Ethereals, as I believe who was in that UFO, and it was Ethereals. We got there, got onto the ground. I brought a mind probe this time. And the important thing I wanted to do was capture the ethereal leader, because once you capture a psychic alien leader, you can start to research psychic stuff. And obviously you've been seeing some bad stuff happening to our troops because of psychic mind control. So the idea was capture an ethereal and research psi. So we got kind of lucky. Pretty much the first alien we saw right as we got off the Skyranger, I used the mind probe on him, and that told us that he was an ethereal leader. So I was like, sweet, I'll capture you. And Scarecrow was carrying the stun bomb launcher, so she ran out and fired at him, did not stun the ethereal, and in trying to reload and fire another bomb, she got shot. And so I screwed around a bit, tried to decide whether to keep trying to stun him or not, pick up the stun launcher off Scarecrow's body, get the stun bombs and stuff. Eventually I was just like, this is too much trouble, I'm shooting this guy. So I shot the ethereal, and everybody else moved out of the Skyranger, sort of hid around the left side of it while that was going on. After that, I moved out, just try and track down the rest of the ethereals. Since I killed the leader, I think, I just decided, okay, no more trying to capture people, I'll just kill all these ethereals from now on. And we moved out, and then Mr. Goliath got mind controlled, so that's not good, and he immediately killed I Love Jam. So good job, Mr. Goliath, but next time try to kill the aliens. And then from that point on, it was kind of a bit of a mind control fest. Well, it wasn't awful. They mind controlled Curly next, and so I was like, well, this is really not going well at all. I've lost two people so far, and they're just going to mind control the heck out of me. So the idea was to rush the UFO as fast as possible, get in there and kill everybody inside, and then if there were any ethereals walking around in the wilderness, I'd also try and kill them. But since usually there's some aliens clustered in the UFO, I was just like, let's get in there and kill them. I'm not going to take it slow. I'm just going to run in and shoot everybody. So M. Westenberg, I think Michael Westenberg and Vampo Vampati were the two who got to the UFO. And I was like, okay, good enough. You two are going in. You're going to do what you can. So they stormed the UFO. They killed an ethereal, and everyone else, while they did this, everyone else was sort of running around sort of behind the UFO or to the side of the UFO, just trying to stay away from the people getting mind controlled so that they wouldn't shoot them and they wouldn't get shot by them. Mr. Goliath eventually got panicked, I think, while Curly pretty much stayed under mind control most of the time. So they go inside the UFO. They killed an ethereal. I'm not sure if I said that already, but then they found two more ethereals, Westenberg and Vampati, and Westenberg shot one of the ethereals from behind, while Vampati was like, "Whoop! I wonder what I will do." And then something exploded. I'm not quite sure what exploded, but then Vampati ran in and killed the second ethereal, and that was it. We also found one out in the wilderness and killed it at some point, but yeah, so we took out the ethereal. Two losses there. I Love Jam and Scarecrow dead. But we took out the UFO. So that was me being rusty and losing two people that I maybe should not have lost. And unfortunately, we didn't capture anybody. So that was good. Also bad. And then I recruited a whole bunch of people, renamed them, so you'll see yourselves popping up in the later episodes. And in fact, in the next mission, because then I shot down a UFO full of mutons and shuffled around the base, selling stuff, buying stuff, whatever. Nothing really interesting there. And then it's on to the mutons, take on the mutons that I shut down. So happily enough, the mutons crashed in a forest, and that's fun because the mutons are green and the forest is green. I think I might have talked about this a bit before, but I got to show. We get to see how difficult it is to see the mutons because they're green, the forest's green. It's like they're ready-made camouflage. So they're in the forest, and I pretty much packed most of the new recruits onto the Skyranger. We didn't even have enough armor for everybody, but I was like, whatever, if you don't have armor, you'll stay in the back. So pretty much most, if not all, of the new people ended up on the Skyranger for this fight, so I brought a lot of people along. So because of that, and because Well, because of that, the fight in the forest wasn't too bad. We were mostly just shooting them down, and it also wasn't too bad because the mutons, we weren't really fighting mutons in the forest. We fought one muton, but mostly it was these things, silicoids and celitids. These are the aliens that the mutons bring along for terror missions. And these mutons had been on a terror mission, but I shot them down. So the silicoids are like, well, no, the celitids are like floating weird kidney bean psychic things, whatever. And then the silicoids are like the rock monsters from Star Trek. If you ever saw the original Star Trek, and there was an episode in a mine where some rock monster is attacking a bunch of miners, and then Captain Kirk is like, "Oh, it's a rock monster, and it's attacking miners." And then Spock mind melds with it, and he's like, "Pain, Captain, so much pain." I think that was that episode. Whatever. They're weird Star Trek monsters. So neither silicoids nor celitids present much of a threat. They don't have much of a ranged ability to hurt you. So I was pretty much just shooting them in the forest. It's tough for them to get close to you in the forest, especially when you brought so many people. So it was a fun little battle in the forest. Pretty much concentrated plasma firepower from all the new people and all the old people downed the aliens. A silicoid set the ground on fire. I think sometimes when they just walk around, I don't know, friction or something, they set the ground on fire behind them. They're kind of weird. I don't know much about silicoids and celitids because I rarely see them. They only pop up on terror missions and base assault missions, and only when the mutons are there, because that's who the mutons bring along. So anyways, we cleared out the forest, not much trouble, and then we started setting up around the UFO. This UFO has two entrances, two doors, one on the left, one on the right. So I've split my forces into two and group them around the doors. The idea was to camp outside the doors, shoot people who tried to come out, and then after a while move inside. As we were doing the whole get into position and camp outside the door thing, we got attacked from behind by a silicoid, silicoid, but I was able to repulse it pretty easily, so that could have gone bad, but I managed to catch it, and so we waited outside the doors a bit, shot some people who tried to come out, and then it was time to move inside the UFO, and this was tense, but nobody ended up dying. It was pretty cut and dry. Just walk inside, shoot the aliens. It was kind of tough because a lot of them were up on the second floor, and there were some holes blown in the second floor from when I had shot the UFO down, so it was kind of tricky, but eventually everyone got up to the second floor, hunted down the last remaining mutons, shot them, killed them, and so that was a very successful mission. Nobody died, even though I even brought along some people who didn't wear any armor, and we killed a bunch of people. So, good job in the forest. Certainly made up for that earlier Rusty mission, and so then at the end of the episode, I added a bunch of buildings on to Eurocom and Americom, some like workshops and living quarters and general stores and stuff. So those are getting built up, and in a bunch of days those will finish. And also throughout this whole episode, the Avenger has been building at Eurocom. If you remember, we started on the Avenger, and that hasn't finished yet, but I'm looking forward to that finishing soon so we can load all the people up on that. So that's how this episode went. Took on 2 UFOs, 2 casualties total. Haven't captured any psychic aliens yet, and hopefully we'll get onto that soon. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Let's Play XCOM. It was much shorter and scattershot and fewer jokes because, I don't know, I guess I forgot to make some jokes. How about, what did the piece of paper say to the pillow? I'm just looking around my room and saying the first things I see. It said, there's pretty much no way to turn this into a joke, is there? I'm not very good at coming up with like punchline jokes on the fly. Does anybody do that on the fly? I don't think anybody does that on the fly. Oh well, this was XCOM. I'll see you next time. Hopefully not as long between updates. Bye.